Hey, poor players. My name is Benny Carrillo, and today we have something special for you. On February 13th, I stopped by the NIS America offices to check out a few demos they were showcasing, one of which was for a game I pre-ordered on a whim last year at Anime Expo, Langrisser 1 and 2. While I have zero experience with the franchise, what caught my eye was the artwork. Specifically, I recognized the art style. The character designs and artwork in the game were done by famed ecchi and hentai artist Satoshi Urushihara. While that might seem like an odd thing to recognize, really it's because the guy's artwork is just ridiculously detailed and beautiful. It's unique to say the least, but we're here to talk about Langrisser, and specifically the impression this demo left on me. Do I still feel confident in that pre-order? Well, we're going to answer that today, but first let's talk about the version of the game I played and my recording setup. For this recording, we utilized the Steam build of the game, which meant we were using quite an impressive gaming rig by CyberPower PC. These specs are as follows. The CPU was an AMD Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core processor with 16 logical processors at 3.6 GHz, 16 gigs of RAM. The motherboard appeared to be an ASRock B550AM gaming board. GPU was an AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT, and the OS was Windows 10 Home 64-bit. I forgot to check what the HDD system was using, but I think it's safe to say it's probably an SSD of some sort. Really, my only complaint here is the use of Win 10 Home. Seriously, Home. Why not Pro? Sure, Home will work, but the IT and tech in me is just kind of scratching my head here. You can't join it to a domain, and you can't utilize Hyper-V. I mean, think of all the virtual machines you could run on this thing. Come on, Nisa, step up your game here. As for my own setup, I was using the following to capture footage. A Dell Inspiron 15 7000 gaming laptop, Core i7 7700 HQ CPU at 2.8 GHz, which had 4 cores but 8 logical processors, 16 gigs of RAM, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, and my OS is a Win 10 Pro 64-bit build. As you can see, I run a proper VM-capable OS, thank you very much. And of course, I was using OBS to record. My capture device, though, is a bit dated. I'm using a good old Hauppauge HD PVR2. In fact, as you can see, it's an older model. I can't even find the specs for it anymore. The bigger problem, though, is that I forgot one crucial thing in OBS, and that was to set the video output settings correctly. Yeah, I'm kind of an idiot when it comes to that. As you can tell, I have been messed around with OBS for quite some time, so this one's on me. So if you're wondering why everything's in 720p at 30 frames a second, despite the wonderful setup that NIS America gave me, that's my fault. So sorry about that, guys. Anyway, though, keep that in mind when taking the graphics into account. That all said and done, let's go ahead and dive into the first two stages of Langrisser 1. Enjoy. Alright, so let's go ahead and boot up Langrisser 1 and 2 here. So this is post-commentary. If you are looking for a non-commentated version of this, we do have one available. Check the link in the description below, or if you're looking at the main page, then you can go ahead and click on the link, the video that should be in there, I believe. Just as a heads up, this is not scripted, so I am basically just post-commentating over this naturally. Anyway, as you can see, we're going to go ahead and dive here into Langrisser 1. For those of you who are curious about the FPS, that will be in the upper right-hand corner there, as you can see. I think at this point I was confirming everything with the Nisi representative, which, by the way, thank you, Laura, for your assistance. First things first, we're going to go ahead and dive into the settings here, mainly because I wanted to take a look at the art style. As you see, I kind of flipped between the classic and the remastered a couple of times. Classic styles aren't bad, but I do end up going with the remasters just because. And then I go ahead and I take a look. We can choose the BGM, and I think originally I planned to set it to the remastered, and then I left it on the 1991 to 1994 BGM, which is not a bad thing, as you will find out. But we will actually hear both in this. Stage 1 will feature the regular music, and then Stage 1 will feature the original music, and Stage 2 will feature the second music, the remaster music. Ah, yes. Clearly you are the goddess of light, considering that outfit. But anyway, I'm going to be commentating, like I said, over this, so please be aware of that. Like I said, if you want to hear the character voices, we have the uncommented version. But basically, the beginning of Langrisser 1 starts with you beating this goddess, and she's going to ask you some questions which are going to set up your character, which we'll take care of that in a second. The voice acting is only in Japanese, so just be aware of that if you're hoping for a dub. Personally, I love my dubs. I wish I had a dub, but I'm kind of okay with it for the music, which we will get into soon. Anyway, when the world's facing catastrophe, we will rely on... I believe I said faith here. Yes, I did. Okay. We view demons as insignificant, not worthy of our time. The most important trait of a ruler is decisiveness. And on the battlefield, the most important trait shall be... composed rationale. Can't be panicking now. The ideal squad would be... an elite few. We need some friends. And lastly, we fight for our loved ones. Of course we do. I mean, well, all good JRPG heroes do that. But as you can see, this influences our stats. So we go from 120 HP to 170, 9 MP to 19, our attack goes up to 89, defense goes to 79, dexterity to 55. And you can redo this if you want. Now, because I'm basically just trying to run through this as fast as I can, we're starting with the easy start, which brings us to this first screen, Castle Escape, Chapter 1. First thing first... wait, no, that's on the next screen. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to deploy because I basically was under a time crunch and needed to get to this. And there's that music already. First thing first. Recruit the mercenaries. Every single fight. Do this. You will see why later. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and recruit four soldiers for our main character there, Ledin, and Volkov there, who is level 20, and that will become important later on. Let's go get a bunch of Lancers. Once you end that, go ahead, commence your battle, and storyline will play out. Our king's name is Ilzak. Gotcha. And, yes, one of the characters is actually named Narm. This game is kind of ridiculous, and I love it already. Something you also might notice is that the icons there for fast forward and hide are from the Xbox One controller. Now, there is not an Xbox One port of this. I asked, because I was like, wait a second. That's kind of interesting. No, they're just standard icons that I guess are used for a lot of Steam ports, just to make things easier, because a lot of people use Xbox One controllers. I wonder why. But, it's a good controller, to be honest. Personally, I think so. But, yes, there is Narm. Again, Narm. Anyway. So the king wants us to basically go ahead and escape with Volkov there. See, if all enemies are defeated, or if Ledin reaches Narm, we win. However, we're not going to go and try and defeat all these enemies. We are getting the hell out of here. Now, the weird thing about this is that in a lot of strategy RPGs, you can go ahead and use the shoulder buttons to cycle through units, and I'm doing that here. But for some reason, R1 cycles to your allies and then your enemies. L1, or LR, however you want to do it, or LR, a left bumper, will actually cycle through your allied units, basically. So it's kind of backwards for me, personally. It's strange. And then if you basically end your turn after moving your main characters, all the other ones will just go ahead and move for you. So that's actually not too bad. You can actually, in the menus, go in there and give them particular commands, kind of auto commands. I don't mess around with that, mainly because this fight, I'm just like, alright, let's get through this as fast as we can. You can also go to those sparkly spots and get certain items that'll be on the floor, so that's kind of cool. But this is definitely a good old classic strategy RPG. As I've mentioned, I don't know a lot about the franchise itself, other than I believe this game was released as Warsong back on the Genesis. And you could hear that Genesis synth in there, and it is glorious. And then enemies going to move all of their units. Yes, Narm, we are coming. Yo, Zach, I can only move so many spaces per turn. You got to calm down, man. See, I'm working as fast as I can. So, but, actually, this mission is super easy. Just move, end your phase. Nothing to worry about here. The, combat is, well, if you played a strategy RPG, that dude is stuck there. He obviously went the correct way. And there's Kossel. He's one of the other named characters. We'll get to see him do a couple of things here, I believe. But, what was I going to say? Here's some combat. But yeah, basically you have your enemies meet. They will have a bunch of combat that happens here. As you can see, that this dude just barely hung in there. But now, unfortunately, he's going to die. And he explodes, as you do in medieval fantasy games. I did not realize we were playing Super Robot Wars here, but okay. That Kossel's a pretty good unit being a named unit. He's pretty beefy there. He's level 10. Don't know what the other enemies actually are, but, oh, that is one other thing. If the commanding unit, dies, meaning in this case Kossel, all the units, the mercenary type units that were assigned to him, basically just go poof as well. So, keep that in mind when you're moving your commanders around. They are powerful, but do not put them in harm's way unless you're damn sure you know what you're doing. But that kind of leads to a lot of interesting ideas with the strategy of this. I can already kind of, just in these 2 chapters I've played, there's a lot of potential here. So, then again, the series did go on to have several games. I believe the first 5 in particular are the main ones. And then there were some attempts to revive it, and to mixed results. And as you can see, we just can't quite reach, Narm again. The game is just like, no, you have to, work for this for one more turn. I would be honestly kind of curious to see if we could actually defeat all of the enemies here somehow. I'm not a fool. How dare you? Well, okay, yes, I kind of am sometimes, but that's beside the point. But there's a lot of different varied units. Like you see, you have mermen here. I'm sure there's probably some kind of terrain bonus. Yeah, there's a terrain 20% bonus. I'm looking at it, of course. And then you've got basically our little friend over there decide, I'm going to heal myself, which is probably a good thing. So there is magic in this game. It is... The important thing to remember about it, though, is you get 1 action per turn. It is move or magic. And if you move, you can obviously attack if you get someone within your range, but you need to kind of... At least I believe you do. We'll confirm that in the second stage. I only had 30 minutes with this game. Cut me a little bit of a break here. But, so it's like your magic is useful, but it can be a thing that you have to watch out for. But Kossel is doing a good job holding off the soldiers. So they're being a really good, wall, despite this overwhelming force that's on our doorstep. Now we just gotta hope that basically our soldiers can defeat these Imperial officers. They're at level 1. I mean, we should be able to. The Imperial this guy's a level 4, so it's a little more dangerous. So actually, it's a pretty... They got pretty much much of a stalemate fight there. Yeah, that merman unit... Oh, no, he survived. Yeah, see, it's like, I recorded this 2 days ago, so even I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that happened. Alright, and then finally I'm like, okay, we can move. But this gives us an opportunity to look at our stats there. We got 5 movement, we got our 89 attack, our 79 defense. Yep, move forward, move up, stand by, and that is the victory. Scenario clear. And we get an achievement. Hooray! Clearly we are the greatest Langrisser players ever. Ledin, I'd be worried too, but we need to get the hell out of here. Trust me, we can trust Narm. Narm, Salarath, Volkov. We have such epic names in this game. And somehow Ledin was the MVP despite just moving. Right. And at this point, I'm like, okay, we're just going to go ahead and go straight to the next mission. And here's where I screw up. So, I'm basically like, let's start the fight. So, Chris. And then sudden cutscene change. Like, I'll say that change was a bit startling. It was just like, boom, CG. But yeah, it's like, wait a second, Chris, huh? You're obviously not from around here. We all have, we all have very exotic names. You're Chris. And Volkov says the magic words that basically, yep, this place is infested with bandits. And Ledin's a good guy, so he's like, we'll take you to that place we're going to. Ah, she's been upgraded to Sister Chris. And we have been surrounded. I think it was at this point I realized my mistake and went, oh, this is gonna suck. And now we are truly flanked. So, we basically have to get Chris up to the gates or the enemies are defeated. However, if Ledin or Chris die, that is the end of the mission. Now, I should have probably listened to Volkov here, but my response was no. Also, at this point, I realized I had the BGM set to classic instead of modern. And so I was like, well, let's give the modern BGM a try. I mean, as good as this Genesis synth is, don't get me wrong, we need to check out the other side. And to be honest, it's not that bad. I quite like it, but yeah, it's not quite the same as that original soundtrack. Still, it is really good, and you can't really go wrong, I think, with either one. But anyway, I decide, okay, fine, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh no, I do move him. Right. I'm checking out our magic, and I'm like, alright, how am I going to accomplish this mess? So, I move Volkov up north, going, well, clearly I need to just kind of go ahead and advance as fast as I can, and hope this works. So now the enemy moves, and this part is that these guys are not really what I'm worrying about. Volkov is level 20, thank God. So he will actually tear through anything. What I probably should have done was had him come back here and do this, but no, Ledin was like going to be a badass and protect Chris because that's what a prince does, yo. So our level 1 Ledin versus a barbarian. And not that great. We definitely did do a ton of damage there. So I'm like, alright, what can we do? I can't move and attack the other guy. It's just not going to work. In fact, I try to, but we can't actually get next to him to initiate the attack. So I'm like, well, I'll use Sharpen, and then I'll attack. Which... that did actually level me up, and the good thing about leveling up is that it restores your HP, so keep that in mind for a little bit later. But yeah, that also wastes our turn, so not the greatest idea, or maybe it was. But Volkov just is like that one character from Fire Emblem that you get in the beginning of the game that's completely badass, and you know it's not going to last for the entire game somehow, like Titania. So we're going to take advantage of good old Volkov here and just have him murder everything in his path. So, and at that point, I think I was double checking the victory conditions. All right. So it's now the enemy phase. The enemy moves, and the main guy goes and decides he wants to attack me. So we're both level 2. We do quite a bit of damage, which is good, but we also have to then deal with the other enemies attacking us. And, well, this gets kind of hairy. Leden's doing his best, but he's tanking on 3 different units. And, the damage is starting to rack up here. So, I'm seriously at this point wondering what the heck I should do. It looks like we could kill him. There's a 71% chance of that happening. Or sorry, 60, I believe, well, if I'm reading that correctly, it would be 66 on our side. But, nope, that doesn't happen. He survives at 22 HP. And we really don't have any way to recover HP, so we're kind of boned. So Volkov needs to kill this guy like last Thursday. Thankfully he does so, because he's Volkov, goddammit. Yeah, laugh and explode. We end our phase. Oh! Reinforcements. Thanks, guys. Where were you when we were being attacked? Oh, it's that Hawking guy we needed to meet. Oh, this is convenient. And that guy's name is Thorn. Anyway, the reinforcements will move that way to the right. Chris will basically move towards the center. And the enemy will be the enemy. So, place your bets now. Do I die or do I survive? Does my own stupidity do me in? Well, we actually kill him. He was stupid enough to kill him to run right into me, which levels us up, which restores our HP, which means we're back at full strength, and also the enemies that were with him ran away. So, we narrowly avoid death. The moral of the story here, make sure to take mercenaries with you. We got lucky there. So, yeah. Granted, it is the beginning of the game. And we take out another group, so that's good. The only thing that kind of sucks is that we are bleeding EXP here in a normal run. We should probably be going after as many of the guys as we can just to continuously level up. But, like I said, we were going for a bit of a speed run here because I was under a time crunch. So the enemy moves. Volkov is just going to walk right up there and stab this guy in the face a couple of times. And they're dead. The man will not level up, but at the same time, the man does not need to level up. I think he's already boss enough as it is. Ah, Demotov. One letter away from being Demotiv. Okay, not really, but still. So, we now have to go ahead and deal with this guy. So, we end our turn. We let the allied units basically go ahead and move into position here. And he doesn't want those to let us get away. So, he'll charge right into battle himself, which... yeah, I'm sure you're going to go ahead and kill him. Considering he's a named unit and level 10. Alright, turn 6. So, at this point, it doesn't really matter all that much. We just move Leden in hopes to get to the sparkly stuff. Doesn't happen. Volkov is still moving forward. We just end our phase. Hawking goes right for the kill here. Level 10 versus level 7. Yeah, I don't think Leden's dealing with this guy even if he walked up to him. And the Lancers didn't do all that well, actually. I really do like, actually, the chipified sprites on this. On one hand, it's kind of adorable, which is cool. But on the other hand, it actually just looks really neat and stylized. And clearly this man did not get the memo that Hawking is a named unit. And now Thorn gets into the fight, who's a level 8. But I love this. We have all these characters named all these cool, crazy names, and we have Chris. Which, granted, it's an exotic name to the Japanese, but to us it's just like, oh, you're obviously not from around here. Alright. Again, we just move our characters. And we basically go ahead and have Hawking deal with these guys. And we take out another group with Thorn. Demotov's group here is kind of dying really quickly. Chris moves. And at this point, we go ahead and Demotov's fortunately is smart enough to go, I'm not going to go ahead and attack you guys. Sadly, his days are up. Led moves across the river finally. Velikov gets within a hair's reach of them. Or hair's breadth, I believe is the correct term. We end our phase, and we let Hawking deal with Demotov. And he's down. And clearly that means he'll be back later in the game. Which, unfortunately, we will not be dealing with. So, scenario clear, though. So, with that, we meet Hawking. Chris realizes he's the prince. Hawking's like, dude, what are you doing here? He's like, well, the castle was attacked by a bunch of these guys, and I need your help to go rescue dear old dad. And, of course, Hawking, being awesome, is like, we're going to go take care of that. Right after we have a quick intermission. You got to gather our forces, obviously. And with that, we get a clear bonus. And, of course, Volkov is MVP with 4 kills, because, of course he is. The dude was amazing. So, but anyway, that basically brings our little demo of Langrisser 1 to a close here. Go ahead and join me on the other side of this, where I will give you some of my thoughts. So, see you in a second. So, what'd you think? Personally, I'm quite excited to get my hands on this one. Not only is it a turn-based strategy game, one of my favorite genres, but the soundtrack alone looks to be worth the price of admission. As for the Steam build itself, I'm impressed with not just how stable it is, but that the game seems to run in 3840 by 2160 with no problems. Granted, I am not a PC aficionado, but it is a platform I do plan to delve into more this year. I could see myself loading this up on my laptop and taking a few turns during my lunch break at work. Sure, I could do the same with the Switch version, but I like my achievements, damn it. Are there any flaws? Well, I think that might come from more personal taste than anything else. Myself, I love the chibi art style, but I can see people possibly being turned off from it. Likewise, I can also see people being disappointed with the lack of an English dub, especially since this is an NIS America title. However, again, I'm willing to let this one go. However, if you'd like to go ahead and check it out for yourself, you're in luck. Langrisser 1 and 2 will have a demo available this week for both the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4. Sadly, no Steam demo. I know. Still, if you have a Switch or a PS4, give the game a shot. The demo should cover chapters 1 to 3 of Langrisser 1 and chapters 4 to 6 of Langrisser 2. Check your particular platform store and have some fun. Anyway, that's it for this video, everyone. I'd like to thank both NIS America and our PR representative Laura for inviting me down and being such gracious hosts. I'd like to thank our editor-in-chief Francis for helping with the editing of this video. If you enjoyed this, then let us know. We'll have some more content like this hopefully in the future. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and visit our website at heypoorplayer.com. Until next time, everyone, Jamata.